Well, it is exactly 2 months to the general election, 61 days to be precise. Deputy President William Ruto is currently trailing Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga in 25 counties. Our reporter Chepto Boit will be crunching those numbers for you right ahead on this broadcast. Good evening. This is News Tonight to begin, but let's have a look at the highlights. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission now says it has received an independent audit of the voters' register.
Report from KPMG by 16th of June this year, and there will be a stakeholder engagement on the final register of voters on the 17th of June 2022.
The Commission will publish the final register tomorrow. Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga currently leads in 25 counties as opposed to Deputy President's lead in 16 counties, according to the latest InfoTrack opinion poll.
When we did this survey, after the decision was made on running mates, we see Raila maintaining at 42% currently, but Ruto has gone down.
Also tonight, Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i announces a massive disarmament operation which will be carried out in 3 Rift Valley counties over insecurity. Good evening once more and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Anne Wairemo. Tonight, a preliminary audit by auditing firm KPMG has revealed that there are 246,465 dead voters in the voters' register. In a press conference this evening, IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati also confirmed that there were also 481,711 duplicate records and 226,143 voters registered with identification cards that don't validly belong to them. IBC was expected to publish the register by tomorrow, but the new findings have delayed the process until the 20th of June.
The Commission has received a preliminary audit report with useful information, including a total of 246,465 deceased voters, 481,711 duplicate records. These are people sharing more than one ID. 226,143 voters registered with IDs that don't validly belong to them. 164,269 registered voters with voter records which have invalid documentation, IDs and passports. These are documents of identification which are not recognized as per the Kenyan records. And these issues must be addressed prior to certification and publication of the register. Previously, the Commission had announced that it would certify and publish the register of voters on or before 9th of June 2022, that's tomorrow. However, due to the implementation of these preliminary audit findings on the register, the Commission has decided to address the findings prior to certifying the register for publication on or before the 20th of June this year. The Commission is scheduled to receive the final audit report from KPMG by 16th of June this year, and there will be a stakeholder engagement on the final register of voters on the 17th of June 2022.
Moving on, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga is the most preferred candidate and is leading in 6 regions. That is according to the latest opinion poll results by research firm InfoTrack. Raila is leading in the overall ratings with 42% of the respondents saying they will vote for him, 4% ahead of Ruto, who has a 38% rating. Chepto Boit reports.
The latest opinion polls by research firm InfoTrack now indicates that Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga is the most preferred candidate ahead of the August 9th election. According to the pollster, Raila Odinga would emerge the winner if elections were held today with a popularity of 42%, which as of 9th May 2022 was a tie with Deputy President William Ruto, who is now trailing Raila at 38%.
Raila, with his 42%, and we assume that 95% of Kenyans are going to vote, which is near 100, 22.2 odd million voters, then that translates for him to 9.3 million votes today. Ruto, with his 38% currently, would then garner 8.4 million votes.
The polls that were conducted between 23rd and 27th May indicate that Raila Odinga is dominating in 20 counties and has a popularity of 25% in 37 out of 47 counties. Deputy President William Ruto, on the other hand, is leading in 16 counties with a 25% popularity rate in 38 counties.
It is 9,000 interviews. It covered all the 47 counties, but even more importantly is that we did not randomly pick constituencies. We covered all 290 constituencies as well.
11 counties remain to be the battlegrounds of the two horses in the race for them to hit the 50+1 threshold. In matters popularity of gender, 38% of the female gender would vote for Raila, while 37% would vote for Ruto. 45% of the male gender would vote for Raila Odinga, while 39% would vote for William Ruto. The survey, however, indicates that UDA is the most popular party. Barely 60 days to the general election, InfoTrack now indicates that the choice of running mate of William Ruto seems to impact his numbers, which currently stand at 38% from an initial 42%, which was a tie with Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga initially. Chepto Boit, TV 47, Nairobi.
Well, thank you for that, Chepto Boit. Now, Deputy President William Ruto has continued to poke holes on the Azimio manifesto that was launched by Azimio One Kenya candidate Raila Odinga on Monday, saying it is misplaced. Speaking during his campaigns in the northeastern region, Ruto vowed to protect the Mitumba traders if elected president. The second-in-command at the same time rubbished the latest opinion polls by research firm InfoTrack, saying they are misleading. Mike Gongo tells us more.
Takbir! Deputy President William Ruto has poked holes on the Azimio One Kenya manifesto, saying proposals by Raila to ban Mitumba clothing is misplaced and will cause untold suffering among Kenyans.
Mimi nataka niwaambie wale wanafanya biashara hiyo ya mtumba. Serikali ya Kenya kupitia bottom up tutawaunganisha na TVET ili nyinyi ndio mtaendesha hiyo biashara na tutawasaidia ili nyinyi ndio muwe investors.
Ruto now seems to have changed tune, vowing to protect the Mitumba traders if elected president. This coming month after the second-in-command said that he will boost the textile industry and stop the importation of the second-hand clothing to ensure locally produced products get market. Sentiments echoed by ODM leader Raila Odinga on Monday during the launch of his manifesto. Raila said he will revive the textile industry so that Kenyans can acquire locally manufactured clothes as opposed to Mitumbas. Odinga maintained that he will prioritize Mitumba operators in their textile industry revival plan. The DP pitched tent in Mandera, where he held rallies in Elwak and Tabaka towns, pegging his development agenda on the bottom-up economic model. Ruto said resources will be channeled to the second-hand clothing sector.
Manifesto yao imekwama. Wameenda kumanufacture at opinion poll ati ya kusema ya kwamba sijui wataendelea namna gani. Wameenda wakasema sijui NSIS, wameenda wakasema opinion poll. Mimi nataka niwaambie watu wa Mandera na watu wa Kenya, hawa watu tumewashinda na njia zote.
The deputy president regretted that the politics of deceit and conmanship had become so pronounced in the country that some politicians were now looking down upon other people's businesses.
There is nothing they can do anymore. They sold us fear. They sold us the deep state. They sold us the system. Now they have resorted to fake opinion polls. We are telling them, On the 9th of August, the people of Kenya will decide against deceit, against betrayal, against conmanship, and we are going to have a government for the people of the Republic of Kenya.
Garissa Township MP Aden Duale asked the Deputy President to bring to a stop extrajudicial killings in the northern part of Kenya once he assumes office.
Mimi naomba watu wa Elwak, tafadhali musipoteze kura yenu. Hata kama haitasaidia kitu kingine, tumieni kura yenu kusaidia dini ya Kiislamu. Mnasikia? Kura yenu ijenge madarasa. Mchague ule kiongozi anajenga madarasa.
For the fourth day, Ruto has pitched tent in northeastern region, spreading the Kenya Kwanza gospel in Palampala and Modogashe in Garissa County, Habaswein, Hadado, Ebute and Kotulo in Wajir County, and Mandera Town, Elwak and Chakaba in Mandera County. The Kenya Kwanza running mate Rigathi Gachagua in his Meru County tour asked the people of Imenti to rally behind a government that will take care of their interests.
Don't be misused by a government that is retiring. Hii serikali inaenda nyumbani. Nyinyi mjipanga na serikali inakuja.
Nyinyi watu ya majani chai hapa, watu ya kahawa, mtakuwa na ile inaitwa guarantee minimum return. Wewe kama mkulima ukienda kwa shamba, unajua ile pesa ya chini kabisa utapata ni gani kabla uende kulima.
Hata wajaribu hiyo binu ya kuleta opinion poll fake za uongo. Tunajua wanaleta hiyo ndio ati wasikubali matokeo ya uchaguzi. Tunawaambia tutawashinda na hakuna mkate nusu na hakuna handshake. Mtu akishindwa aende nyumbani pole pole.
Gachagua and his brigade are expected to tour Tigania Market Thursday. ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula also ward Western Region Wednesday, drumming up support for Kenya Kwanza in the August election.
Tumekuwa tukisema agenda yetu ni uchumi, number 1. Number 2, uchumi. Number 3, uchumi.
Kwa serikali ya sasa, hakuna minister hapa Kakamega, hakuna minister Vihiga, hakuna minister Bungoma, hakuna minister Busia. Siaya peke yake iko na minister ngapi? 3. Na ni kura zetu zimempa nguvu.
Mike Kagwongo, TV 47.
Mama anatosha ama atosha?
Now, Kenya Kwanza principal and ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has expressed concerns over the newly raised 10 trillion shillings debt ceiling, saying it has put the debt situation in the country beyond manageable levels. Mudavadi, who was on the Kenya Kwanza campaign trail in his Western Kenya backyard, has said that the ceiling that was increased by MPs on Tuesday has consequently increased the burden on the shoulders of Kenyans amid the rising cost of living in the country. David Mudhoka reports on the recent uproar over the new debt ceiling that is set to go through the Senate before Parliament adjourns on Thursday to pave way for lawmakers to go and campaign.
Kenya Kwanza principals Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula's blitz tour of their western backyard entered its second day on Wednesday, with the duo leading other Kenya Kwanza leaders from the western region on a charm offensive of Kakamega, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma and Vihiga counties. The hunt for votes coming a day after the National Assembly increased the debt ceiling to 10 trillion shillings from the 9 trillion shilling debt ceiling that had been set in 2019. The leaders led by Mudavadi faulted the upward adjustment, saying it has now plunged the country's debt situation into unmanageable levels.
Yani nyinyi mnafuliza hapa chini na Uhuru ametuweka kwa fuliza ya ulimwengu. Hii ndio shida tuko nayo. Na ndio kwa sababu tunasema ni lazima tutafute serikali ambayo itapindua haya maneno.
Noting that the burden on the shoulders of a majority of Kenyans who are reeling under the high cost of living was now heavier than ever before, Mudavadi has said that a Kenya Kwanza government promises a better life for Kenyans, unlike their Azimio la Umoja One Kenya rivals.
Sisi hatuwezi tukakubali mambo kama hayo. Na ndio kwa sababu tunasema mtusaidie tuingize serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, tuanze kuangazia uchumi, tubadilishe kwa manufaa ya Wakenya. My friends, hawa jamaa hawawezi.
The new debt ceiling that still needs a Senate approval before Parliament adjourns on Thursday will now pave the way for more borrowing of funds to plug the 846 billion shilling deficit in the 3.3 trillion shilling budget for the 2022 to 2023 financial year. The additional borrowing coming at a time when the country's debt has rapidly risen since President Uhuru Kenyatta took over in 2013. As at December last year, the country's total debt stood at 8.2 trillion shillings, up from 4.4 trillion shillings in August 2017 at the end of President Kenyatta's first term in office, and up from 1.8 trillion shillings in April 2013 when President Kenyatta took over government.
Wakati Uhuru alikuwa akiingia mamlakani, thamana ya dola moja kwa shilingi za Kenya zilikuwa shilingi 90 kwa dola moja. Akakopa, tukakoa tukilipa shilingi 100 kwa dola moja. Sasa tukilipa madeni na yeye ameongeza. Sasa tutakuwa tukilipa shilingi 120 kwa dola moja.
Despite the new war front over the rise in debt, President Kenyatta has been on the defensive, most recently during the Madaraka Day celebrations.
The only time debt is a burden to a nation is if a nation is led by looters. But in the hands of a visionary administration, debt is a catalyst for rapid development.
Maintaining that it will not be business as usual after assuming power, Mudavadi has said that a Kenya Kwanza administration will borrow prudently. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Now, at least 500 people from Mombasa County have filed a petition in court seeking to have former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko vie for the county's top job. The residents have faulted IEBC for barring Sonko from vying, accusing IEBC officials of bias. Paul Kirobi with the details.
Former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko's bid to replace Hassan Joho in the Mombasa gubernatorial bid has received a boost after Mombasa residents filed a petition in court seeking to have the former legislator vie. The 500 residents have criticized the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, saying it is biased. Sonko's lawyer wrote to the Supreme Court in the morning, raising queries about the decision to bar him from contesting in the August pause.
There are only two obstacles. One was the issue of the original degree. It was supposed to be brought here so that they see it physically. So that one was done yesterday. The original degree was brought, and then the verification was done by the Kemu University Vice Chancellor. He sent an email direct to IBC, and a copy I have, that the degree was verified and it was certified, and we gave them the original.
At least 500 people are pushing IEBC to allow Sonko to vie for the governor position. Early today, Sonko pitched tent at the IEBC offices seeking to get answers.
We are waiting for the response. So the returning officer has scanned these letters and sent them to the IEBC offices in Nairobi. Once she gets a confirmation from the legal department, she'll call us.
So until now, you've not been clear.
She'll call us to come for the clearance certificate. She has to confirm the authenticity of this communication from Supreme Court. For our lawyer, have confirmed it's genuine, and from the Supreme Court also have confirmed because they
Kirobi, TV47.
Now, away from politics, stakeholders in the technology industry are meeting in Naivasha, Nakuru County to deliberate on effective cybersecurity strategy and establish a range of national objectives and priorities. Our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru with the story.
Did this exercise by Friday.
The security operators in the country have alluded to the fact that cybercrime has significantly dropped in the recent years as compared to the year 2017 at the height of the general election, following the enactment of a law aimed at curbing the vice.
Our job is to develop the evidence so that when we move forward there, we are able to succeed in prosecution. And I will say this is one of our best opportunity to benefit from this coordination.
The World Economic Forum defines cybersecurity threats as top 10 risks around the world, and at the same time is becoming even more complex. in Kenya, not just a national problem, but is a global problem because of the great impact on our socio-economic well-being as a nation as well, all focus on the digital economy.
Why we need to invest very heavily in cybersecurity is because there are countries and institutions that are now investing in raiding the cyberspace of other countries. So whereas as security people we have been worrying about territorial integrity in a physical sense, now we are going to operate in a ubiquitous space where our territorial integrity is defined by how safe we try to keep the information we have and we keep the systems that we have.
As we approach the general election, the focus is now on how Kenyans conduct themselves in the era of fake news and the unprecedented abuse of social media. The security forces say the strategy could not have come at a better time.
In 2017, the cybercrime bullies in social media, they are so rampant compared to what I'm seeing this year.
The cyberspace remains the present and the future nightmare because this is where very sophisticated and dynamic crime is going to occur.
The security apparatus urging Kenyans to put into consideration the affairs and interest of their neighbors when expressing their views, whether politically or socially.
No amount of insults, as I've said before, no amount of criticism of us in the executive branch of government will tempt us enough to resort to retrogressive acts of interfering with freedoms like shutting the internet or, clawing back on freedoms we have acquired through the Constitution and through the law.
Reporting for TV 47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
The corridors of justice, the main suspect behind the broad daylight murder of Samuel Mugo Muvota at Mirema Drive has been freed by the High Court in Milimani. Dennis Karani Gechoki was released after the prosecution told the court that they had not gathered any evidence linking him to the murder. However, Karani will remain in custody for a further 14 days after he was charged at the Makadara courts on charges of committing a felony. Mwangi Maina with the details.
The respondent has been cooperative.
Dennis Karani Gechoki, the main suspect accused of the Mirema daylight shooting of Samuel Mugo Muvota, the proclaimed boss of the Pishori syndicate involved in spiking drinks and stupefying levelers at high-end joints within Nairobi, has been freed. Dennis was freed by Milimani Principal Magistrate Caroline Mudhoni Jage and has been cleared of the murder charge.
One of the investigating officers in this matter, Your Honor, the respondent was held for 14 days. However, I was unable to complete my investigation in far as murder charge is concerned.
Dennis has been in the police custody for 2 weeks after he was remanded a day after he surrendered to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Karani had earlier denied any involvement in Muvota's murder.
Bota tumeonana naye tena last year March pale Kenyatta Road Hotel Icon. Nilimpata hapo kwa car wash. Mimi nikaingia kwa restaurant kwa sababu yeye hakuwa anatumia hizo vinywaji hizi hard beverages. So mimi nikaingia ndani nikamwacha kwa car wash. Nikitoka sikumpata. Kutoka hapo hatujai communicate. I've never had his contact from kutoka hiyo time tulionana. Sijaikuwa na hata contact yake. So I'm wondering how am I connected to the murder?
The DCI will, however, continue with their forensic probe into the gruesome murder, even after Karani is cleared of the murder charge, as the DCI tries to unravel the circumstances that led to Muvota's execution. This even as information emerged that he led a clique of criminal gang, majorly involving women who would be used to spike drinks and stupefy revelers before stealing from them. The accused person will, however, remain in police custody after he was charged yesterday at Makadara Law Courts for allegedly committing a felony and stealing more than $500,000 Kenya shillings from different bank accounts, among other valuables, from a complainant identified as David Kaikai. Mwangi Maina, TV 47.
Now, the Ministry of Education, in partnership with the Ministry of Interior, is conducting an operation meant to ensure all Form 1 students are in school. Today, over 50 students from Bungoma County were taken to school. This as the government vows to ensure a 100% transition from primary schools to secondary schools.
It is 1 month now since Form 1 students started reporting to their respective schools. But there are some who are still stuck at home, mainly because of lack of school fees. This has prompted government officials to hit the road in search of the students who are meant to be in school, in line with the 100% transition policy.
Kazi yangu sana ni kusaidia watoto, natembea kwa kijiji nikiangalia watoto wameenda shule ama wachaenda. Na iko siku nilipata huyu mtoto peti na simu Wanjala kwa barabara ati anaenda Umeid. Nikamwambia we pato ni mtoto mtoko sana, uwezi kazi ya Umeid.
Walimu wakuwa wameshirikiana, wamekubali kwamba watoto wote wenye wajaenda shule waende shule wote. Na hapa tumefahamu kwamba kuna watoto 294 ambao hawakuwa wameenda shule kufikia jana. Tulipo hapa tuko na watoto karibu 40 ambao wamekuja waende shule. Kwa hivyo wale wengine ambao wamebaki vijijini, tunachukua fursa hii kuwaomba kwamba vile waende shule.
Parents have been urged to ensure their children are in school, as the government has put in place measures in readiness to receive even those without school fees.
Sera ya serikali ni kwamba watoto wote waende shule, na shule ya msingi inalipiwa na serikali kwa kila mtoto. Shule ya upili, ile ya watoto kwenda nyumbani, day secondary school, vile inalipiwa na serikali. Hakuna school fees kutoka kwa mzazi. Kisha zile shule za boarding secondary, serikali inalipia tuition na mzazi analipia boarding.
In the meantime, high school graduates preparing to join institutions of higher learning have been urged to take into consideration their cluster points even as they send in applications to colleges and universities they would want to join.
Every university has its own cluster subject point qualifications. So you apply a university based on the cluster subject qualifications provided. Many people don't follow instructions. Many people want to apply to universities in Nairobi. And for universities in Nairobi, the cluster points are higher than universities on the countryside. Why? Because there is a mentality that a university is one which is in Nairobi. These others are perhaps lesser universities, which is a fallacy, which is a mistake. And apply according to instructions. Choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, choice 4. Choose different universities in different locations with different cluster qualifications in the country. Don't choose choice 1, University of Nairobi, choice 2, University of Nairobi, choice 3. If everybody chooses University of Nairobi, many will be rejected. So there is no complication. Let them choose according to their ability, based on their qualification, according to the certificates they have.
School principals sending students away for lack of school fees have been warned of dire consequences. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Well, moving on, the Ministry of Information and Technology has launched the first ever coding syllabus which targets at least 20 million Kenyans. The syllabus, which has been approved by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, will be taught in primary and secondary schools. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru, while presiding over the launch, noted that for Kenya to become the next Silicon Savannah, digital literacy is crucial for Kenyans. Andrin Kilemi with the details.
The government, in partnership with Codris Africa and other education stakeholders, has launched the first ever coding syllabus that will be taught in primary and secondary schools. The digital literacy program, which has been approved by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, will be offered through the Codris Africa platform and targets at least 20 million Kenyans.
Any child who is not well grounded in technology is prone to suffer a timid future whose full potential is significantly dipped. This fact of life is, if nothing else, what pushed me into founding Codris Africa.
So this initiative today, ensuring that we equip our students or our pupils and our children with digital skills, it could not have come at a better time. Because what it will mean that it is going to save us a lot of time, it's going to save us a lot of costs, and it's going to ensure that we equip the job market with the relevant skills to make sure that we drive our nation forward.
Speaking during the launch, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joseph Musheru noted that digital literacy is crucial for Kenya and will train and upskill individuals to ensure they navigate through the digital world in the 21st century.
We've worked together also on the digital literacy program, ensuring that we have not only devices in schools, but that we have also teachers trained so that they can be able to then train our students. We have worked with many other ministries and departments, whether it is energy, in making sure we have power in the different schools, whether it is industry, in making sure we are seeing manufacturing, as well as the assembly of the devices here in the country.
Director of Criminal Investigation George Kinoti, who was present at the launch, further lauded the program, terming it as the most important aspect of securing the nation, as most crimes are now cyber-based.
Criminals today have become technical savvy. So it is a matter of who is smarter than the other as far as technology is concerned. So if the police are not ahead of the criminals as far as the technology is concerned, then what will be your fate as far as your safety and security is concerned? That's why today I'm celebrating this product.
The program will be piloted in 100 primary schools and 50 secondary schools. 24,000 centers are expected to be opened to register those who will receive the training, which will also target the general public. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Well, at 30 minutes past the hour, time now for a very short break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories. At Trison School.
Join me, Violet Njoki, as I navigate through the maze of the increasingly dynamic business environment and quiet down the noises, as I help you flourish in business every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
Wakey, wakey, time for fun.
For our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why nilieka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now, the country continues to witness a surge in COVID-19 infections. According to statistics from the Ministry of Health, 218 cases have been reported in the last 24 hours, increasing the cumulative COVID-19 infections to 326,015. The positivity rate has surpassed the 5% mark to 6.6%. However, no death was reported. The total death toll is now at 5,651. A total of 82 people recovered from the virus, with the total recovery tally now at 319,117. The National Council of Churches in Kenya has launched a peace campaign in the country aimed at ensuring lasting peace in the country. Today, the members of the clergy met officials from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, the Judiciary, Local Administration and Police Service in Kirinyaga County, while various religious leaders held peace talks and walks in a bid to foster discipline, collaboration and peace before, during and after the election. Here's Maria Macharo with the details.
This is as officials from the judiciary sensitized various stakeholders on election preparedness. This is to ensure the August 9th elections are credible, free and fair.
For the judiciary, what we are doing right now, we are undertaking election dispute resolution training. My senior colleagues are undertaking that training for the next few weeks. And the Chief Justice has also been leading a multi-agency meetings with under the umbrella of the National Council on the Administration of Justice.
When we are approaching this election, we are well prepared. We are even on the process of training our officers. Now for the enemies, whatever we can call disorderliness. We are trying to train our officers on how best we can handle riots, anti-riots, and so on.
Addressing the press here in Nairobi, leaders from the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, who had gathered at the Nairobi Baptist Church, called on Kenyans to vet aspirants and voting leaders with integrity and ability to deliver for the citizens. The leaders appreciated efforts by security agents to restore peace in hotspot areas. However, the leaders accused the government of laxity, saying it has failed to curb the runaway insecurity in some parts of the Rift Valley.
It does appear to us that government has either taken leave from Kerio Valley or has chosen to be complacent or indifferent to those suffering in this region. We remain appalled that this situation has continued for such a long time.
The leaders have also called on stakeholders including NCIC, Office of the DPP, IEBC, among others, to collaborate and uphold their mandate to Kenyans.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, Directorate of Public Prosecution, National Police Service, and the Judiciary, all to join together and work towards executing their mandate with honor and impartiality.
On the same breath, NCIC boss Skita Ocharo says the judiciary has set aside 5 courts that will focus on cases of incitement and pre-election disputes during the electioneering period. Former Vihiga County Women Representative Dorcas Kegode has called on residents to be peace ambassadors during the electioneering period.
Na juzi mliona ya kwamba Chief Justice amejitokeza ili kufungua koti 5 ambayo itakuwa specialized court na itakuwa inahusika peke yake na mambo ya hate speech.
In Kibra, Nairobi County, a youth alliance group well known as Peace Print organized a peace walk from Nairobi to Nakuru County, spreading the message of peace and tolerance. The move has been lauded by Sarangombe Area Chief Edwin Otwori, encouraging residents to borrow a leaf from the youth group.
Because everybody wants peace. Everybody. Hakuna mtu yote mwenye hataki peace.
Political leaders and we as the administration, we are telling people now, love your neighbor.
Politicians have also been urged to respect the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission as it undertakes its responsibility during this period.
Honor should be given to the IBC, who are trying their best to manage these elections, to the judiciary that is standing by and taking charge of any disputes, that these institutions will take charge and discharge their responsibilities without interference from any quarters.
The leaders and the various stakeholders have also urged youth not to allow to be used by politicians to disrupt the peace currently witnessed in the country. Mariam Wacharo, TV 47.
Now, residents in Kimugundura village, Laikipia County, have urged the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, to investigate a case where a young teenager was shot dead during a confrontation with herders. Now, the residents claim that the 17-year-old was fatally injured by law enforcers as he drove a herd of cattle to a local police post after being found grazing illegally on a private farm.
Ile kijana ambayo ya kwanza amepigwa ilipigwa tarehe 1 mwezi wa 9 2015. Alipigwa risasi hapa kwa hii shamba. Tumelia aipoa, aipewa kashunguza na hakuna mali ilienda. Kwa hivyo tena hii askari hii kijana ambaye alipigwa ya miaka 17. Tunaomba aipoa ajaribu kuingilia, manake serikali ya Kenya ifuate sheria. Na serikali ya Kenya haangalii haki za binadamu. Mtoto kuuliwa kama ni mnyama ameuliwa, helicopter angekuwa hapa. Na kwa vile binadamu ameuliwa, hakuna mtu angekuwa hapa. Kwa hivyo tunaomba aipoa ya ichunguze na pia tuangalie hiyo ng'ombe, hiyo mtoto, manaka hakuna mwenyewe, ilifungiwa. Hatujui kama ng'ombe yote imetoka ama ameuza.
Sasa jana ndio mtu sasa. Lakini ile kitu mimi naambia tena kurudia ifua. Iko askari naitwa MPR walishanganyana jana na polisi ya Karionga. Stock hajawahi kufanya kitendo kama hii. Stock. Kwa hivyo hawa wawekwe kando, wachunguzwe Karionga, huko ndio yuko na shida.
Ambaye anamiliki shamba, ambaye anatunyanyasa, Kwa nini hatupigi risasi Oldaiga? Kwa nini hatupigi risasi hapo na Soit, Kinyon, Mngongoni, hii mashamba ingine? Kwa nini hii ambayo wanasema ni ya Mwafrika mwenzetu anatunyanyasa?
Yeah.
Hundreds of angry residents invaded a piece of land earmarked for a public market that had been allegedly grabbed within the disputed 17-acre South Ngariama Ranch in Mwea East constituency, Kirinyaga County. Armed with pangas, jembes and slashes, the residents cleared the bushes on the land and allotted themselves areas where they will construct market stalls. The traders allege that the grabbed piece of land is being sold to a private developer. Now, Apollo Njeru, the chairman of Mihiriga Kenda Elders, said that the market is part of a 50 acres piece of land in the area which was earmarked for public amenities, some of which have already been grabbed. Njeru says that the 5 acres were allocated for the construction of a dispensary, 5 acres allocated for a stadium, and 3 acres allocated for a police station and a matatu terminus, all of which have allegedly been grabbed and allegedly sold.
Na tuna mnanda hapa eka 2, tuna stage hapa imekwisha, na kuna sirota imeipio, na tuna market na library na wabisi ya DC ya dio iko ha orende nayo hatujui kama iko imeenda. Hiyo kitu yote tunataka serikali iturudishie. Hatutaki mengi na hatutaki pita. Tunataka hiyo turudishio kwa sababu watoto wetu watapigia mpira wapi? Stadium ikienda. Haya akina mama wakipata mimba watakwenda kujipungulia wapi hospitali ikienda? Yeah? Haya sasa security yetu tunauliza serikali. Tunaona hapa iko kitu kinaendelea. Askari walipigwa transfer. Wafisi yetu sasa hatuna security sasa. Askari wameondolewa. Sasa tunauliza mumwambie Kebisho atuletee security ha? Maana wakati hatuna askari. Tukipatiwa askari ni sawa sawa. Sasa tujui tutafanya nini, kwa sababu hapa hatuna security, inalindwa ni wananchi. Waswahili walisema ukimkuta simba amelala usimwamuse. Sasa hatukuwa mwisho, mambo ya piombo yetu ilienda kuendelea, lakini sasa tumeamuka. Si mwelevu mjinga akirebuka, sasa tumerebuka kushuka mali
Uliza title inafika wapi? Nikaenda kule nikaambiwa ati gavana wa Igoro anakata.
Now back to politics. Kenya Kwanza leaders from the North Rift region have castigated Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga as they drum up support for their presidential candidate William Ruto. The team says the coalition is the best place to bring economic transformation to the country. The leaders were speaking in a Thanksgiving ceremony for Trans Nzoia Kenya Kwanza gubernatorial candidate Chris Wamalwa after his clearance by IEBC. Our reporter Boniface Baraza has the details.
The leaders led by Wazingishu Governor Jackson Mandago have poked holes in Raila's presidential bid, saying he has no agenda for common mwananchi.
Waje niwaulize watu wa Trans Nzoia, ukiweka Raila Odinga hapa na uweke William Ruto hapa, nani atakuwa amelala baada ya dakika 30? Nani atakuwa amelala? Si Raila atakuwa amelala? Sasa kazi ya Kenya itaendeshwa ukilala.
The team rallied Kenyans to rally behind Kenya Kwanza as they fashioned Ruto's candidature as the one that seeks to address challenges facing the common mwananchi through the bottom-up economic model.
Hii kura hatutashinda kama mutatoka kwa wingi. Hiyo tarehe 9. Hii kura tunataka kushinda kiti ya urais na kura zaidi ya 60%. Ndio maneno ya maandamano Kenya hii, maneno ya handshake ikwishe.
Tunataka pesa mfukoni. Basi nawaletea salamu. The fifth president of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto.
In addition, they drummed up support for Kenya Kwanza gubernatorial candidate in Trans Nzoia contest, Dr. Chris Wamalwa, and his running mate Joyce Cheruto Keter.
Tunataka kura 100% kwa Chris Wamalwa awe governor wa Trans Nzoia hii.
Running mate wangu yeye ni mumama na vile vile she is beautiful. Si vijana wamefurahia sasa? Vijana mpo! Vijana mpo!
Mheshimiwa Chris tunahakikishwa kuwa atafanya kazi hapa Trans Nzoia. Ako na manifesto mzuri.
Kuna watu kule Cherangani wanaleta shida kina Kitun na kina Kirwa. Nao mniachieni mimi. Nitadili nao.
Elsewhere, DAP-K gubernatorial candidate George Natembea, who will face off with Wamalwa in the Trans Nzoia gubernatorial race, has also drummed support for his bid ahead of August polls.
Rasmi, our determination kukomboa kaunti yetu saizi iko re-energized, iko rejuvenated, na ningependa kuomba wakazi wa Trans Nzoia watuunge mkono, tutembee nao kwa njia ya amani mpaka tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 wapige kura kwa njia ya amani na sisi wenyewe tujikomboe.
Nasema safari imeanza, tuendelee tushikane mikono mpaka tarehe 9. Asanteni sana.
Naamini this is the winning team and it's a new beginning for Trans Nzoia. Ukombozi umefika.
On his part to usawa kwa wote, gubernatorial candidate Wilfred Muraya has promised to focus on youth empowerment if elected as the county boss come August election.
This is a momentous occasion for the youth of Trans Nzoia, for the Generation Z. All aspirants have been selling to Mama Mboga, of which also we are going to get Mama Mboga.
Katika mageuzi ambayo tunaenda kuleta, sisi tunataka tuone matokeo. Matokeo ambayo tunaenda kuyaona, tunaenda kuona uboreshaji wa afya. Tunaenda kuona uboreshaji wa kilimo Trans Nzoia.
Boniface Barasa, TV47.
Well, now let's have the latest in the world of business. Welcome. Kenya Railways Corporation now says that passengers can now travel at night to and from Kisumu beginning Friday, June 10th. The services that will be offered every Friday and Sunday will see passengers depart from Nairobi at 6:30 in the evening and arrive in Kisumu at 6:30 in the morning, with the return trip being on Sunday, same time. Let's have the latest in the world of sports. All Africa University Games entered day 3 today at the Kenyatta University main campus sports ground with over 2,000 university students, athletes participating in the games. Our sports reporter Duncan Mutua reports.
All Africa University Games entered day 3 today at the Kenyatta University main campus sports ground with over 2,000 university students, athletes participating in the games. The local universities are experiencing a hard time as Makerere University and Danger University from Uganda seems to be varsities to beat after Makerere's University ladies football team defeated host Kenyatta University 4-1. Earlier today, Uganda Nyeko Dismas from Danger University proved to be too strong in the men's 10,000 meters race after clocking 29 minutes 12 seconds to finish ahead of Emmanuel Ngeno of Kenyatta University and Alphonsia Williams of University of Education Winneba, who clocked 30 minutes 27 seconds and 31 minutes and 20 seconds respectively. After the win, the 10,000 meter gold medalist Nyeko Dismas expressed his excitement as he attained his target despite facing hard time during the preparations.
Yeah, my preparation was more fair, not so good, because we are doing exam, we are not training well at school.
Who bagged silver medal in 10,000 meter race promised to bounce back tomorrow in the seniors 5,000 meters race.